To ask another important question, which is again very, very popular and uh, and pretty controversial also. Different people have very different interpretation. So, what do you mean by Advaita or non-duality? So, when you hear this word, truth is non-dual or Advaita, what do you take it to mean, or what it means to you, if it means anything?
Yeah, Pete, why don't you take that one?
All right. Well, to me, it means that everything has the same origin. There is only uh, one medium that is creating it. Might be a space, might be nothingness, but it all converges to one. The analogy or the metaphor that I like to do is like the one of an origami piece of art.
Okay.
An origami piece of art is just a sheet of flat piece of paper. And you create a bird or a flower by folding that paper in many different ways, right?
Yeah.
So everything that you see as diversity is the same space that has folded itself in different ways, at different frequencies, at different dimensions. It's like it's wrinkles in a space. And this has been proven but that a space can do this by the theory of relativity. Gravity bends space. Now this is really a deep thing that is almost a spiritual. How can gravity bend something that is not matter?
Well, actually, in Einstein's theory of gravity, gravity is the bending. It's not that gravity bends anything, it is the bending of space.
Well, okay. Well, but how can something that is like nothing, okay, because space has no substance, no matter,
Mm-hmm.
how can something like that be bent? But it happens, and it's a mystery. It's a mystery as profound as the how the body of Christ could be inbred or something, also something like that. If you were a Christian, right? Seems impossible, but I think that this is what you have to understand if you want to understand Advaita is that everything that you see is the result of everything else.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't come to a system by itself. Okay, it's what the Buddhists call codependent origination.
Now, I don't know if this, my answer to it would be a little bit different.
Okay.
So, in terms of consciousness moment, a minute ago I was talking about like in this moment, you have this taste of consciousness. So, to me, all we ever have is just that moment of consciousness. That's all there is. It's just that spark of something. So, the one that you're talking about is that spark in that moment. That's all there ever is. We interpret all that spark as ramifolding into into the universe, into all these things, but really when it comes down to it, all we have is that spark of taste of consciousness in that moment. And that's where the unity of Advaita comes from, in my opinion.
So, you think that consciousness is the source of everything?
No.
Or is it absolute?
I'm saying that all we ever have, Now, what you said, I think, is still within the realm of consciousness. I I don't know whether to call it consciousness or not, but I'm saying it's almost like there's a cutting edge to awareness, and there's that little edge. I've talked to Arvind, is like the dance of Shiva. If you imagine a bead of water in a hot skillet, right, and it's moving around, skittering around, in a moment, there's always this life. It's just, you cannot contain it. That spark, that life, is all there is. That to me is how I would define Advaita.
Okay. How about you, Arvind?
Yeah. One thing is that I definitely do not claim to be Advaita or non-duality expert.
No,
And
me
I think-
neither.
But that makes you a non-duality expert.
No. So I have talked to few people who claim to be Advaita non-duality expert, and they have clearly told me that I'm not an expert.
Oh, well.
They have told me that what I say or what I understand is not really the true or correct interpretation of what Advaita is. But my understanding, my experience is that so if you go to find your own reality, if you go to find reality of self, yourself, your consciousness, your I am, your presence, your reality, the source of that reality, the power behind that reality is no other than the ultimate reality. That ultimate reality, you can call it Brahma, you can call it ultimate, you can call it pure consciousness, unconsciousness, Christ, Krishna, Allah, doesn't matter. Call it a space, call it nothingness, call it emptiness. But whatever you think you are, whatever you take yourself to be, by the power by which you think, by power by which you reason, it all originates to the same place. So basically, you do not have an independent, separate existence from what is. That's what I understand by non-duality. That means there are not two things. It's not that there is you and there is a reality. There is you and there is God. And because there are no two things, no merger, no union is possible. Because in reality, what you call God, what you call ultimate, Brahma, is the only one that is. That only one is even right now. Even though you might imagine yourself to be this person, this identity, even if you think you are a sinner, even if you think you are ignorant, or you think you are enlightened, it's just the same reality behind. So whatever illusion we might have, whatever awakening we might have, that is happening right now, but is still in the realm of the same being.
Yeah, I agree. This thing has been said very eloquently thousands of years ago by Hinduism, Buddhism, and even other religions. Like the dance of Shiva is a very good explanation for creation, because the ultimate reality creates by moving, and physics agrees with that. Everything that you consider energy or matter is movement.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that science has not found, and probably never will, is what is moving. For that, you have to go to religion or to philosophy. Science will probably never establish what is moving.
Yeah, about that thing,
Which is the same thing, different rate of movement.
yeah, about subatomic particles or subatomic reality.
That's
You
right.
might remember what Jan used to say. He used to post at GR. So his saying was that actually even scientists, physicists, do not have real idea of what is inside the matter. They only guess, they only speculate.
Right. See what science is doing right now is cutting reality in smaller and smaller units. But still, there is movement there, but they don't know what is moving. So, what is the difference if you say, well, the smallest particle is a quark, right? Or if you say the smallest particle is a string, you still are only saying something is vibrating, but this one is smaller than the other. So what?
You know, when they first came up with the atomic model, and you know, like the atom, so the neutrons, protons, electrons going around, it seemed like they were explaining by particles what matter was. But now at the quantum level, I don't think they really think that way. They're really looking at relationships, not entities. There's no entity that really explains much of anything. It's only in the complex relationships and the multiple levels. So they have what hadrons on certain levels. You know, there's these, like the boson they're talking about. It's a different level. They have an electron in another level. There's a lepton. So it's the complex layers and relationships that is their explanatory power. The particles don't really tell you anything. It's just how they're all connected.
Right. That's what Buddha already said 2,000 years ago. Everything is codependently arises. Nothing arises by itself. And also Hinduism has the same image, like the necklace of Indra. Is it
Indra's net.
Is that the right name?
Indra's net.
Indra's net, exactly. You know, in which each jewel reflects the other, but the jewels themselves are like depending on each other.
You know, that's a really good analogy. Both of those are good analogies. And that codependent rising, really, I think, is what they're seeing in physics. I think I never thought of it that way before. I think that's very good.
So, well, did we solve anything?
What?
Did we solve anything?
No.
But we're having fun. That's good.
No, but I think that's a great, because it's like it's all, you have it all at once. You can't take this piece and this makes sense, right? It only makes sense, like you said earlier. When I've written this Surgadada's quotes, you know, everything is caused by everything else. Same thing. Indra's net.
Okay,
right?
so